Who were illegally living in America were deported to India today. They landed in Amritsar this afternoon after Donald Trump's administration deported them. Now,
Do you know that a huge number of illegal Indian immigrants and asylum seekers in the United States come from just a few states in India? And it's not random, it's been a pattern. Every year, thousands of people from places like Punjab, Gujarat, and Haryana risk their lives across multiple countries and sometimes spend their life saving just to set foot in America. What's happening in these specific regions that pushing people to take such extreme measures? And how are they making it to the US through routes that sound straight out of a movie? And today we are breaking down the real reasons behind this growing trend, and trust me, some of it might surprise you. Let's start with some shocking numbers. In 2023, US Border Patrol detained over 41,000 Indian nationals trying to cross into the US. In 2019, that number was just 7,600. So, in just a few years, it's exploded. And the US has now ranked India as one of the top countries for undocumented immigrants and arriving at its southern border. And that's thousands of people leaving their homes, flying to Brazil or Mexico, and then walking through the jungles and deserts to come into the US from the Mexico border. But for them, the risk is absolutely worth it. Let's see which Indian states are these people coming from. And if you look at the data, most illegal Indian immigrants in the US are coming from only three states at large: Punjab, Gujarat, and Haryana. And of course, some parts of South India, especially from Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. But hold on, why these states? Why not places like Bihar, UP, or West Bengal, which also have high employment rate? Well, the answer is a mix of history, economics, and organized migration networks. Let's start with Punjab because it's by far the biggest contributor to illegal immigration from India. And migration is not new for Punjabis. For decades, Punjabi families have moved to Canada, the UK, and the US, both legally and illegally. There's this idea that success means moving abroad, and it's part of their culture. But things have gotten worse in the recent years because unemployment is rising, where many young people, even educated ones, struggle to find the jobs. Farmers are definitely drowning in debt. The agrarian crisis has pushed families to look for a way out. And also, the Canada dream has shifted to the US, with student visa rejections rising in Canada in the last few months. People are looking for alternative routes to get into different countries. And that's where human smuggling networks come into place. And here, people sell their land, take huge loans, or borrow money from relatives just to pay an agent who promises to get them to the US. And these agents charge anywhere from 30 to 50 lakhs, which is almost 40 to $60,000 per person. But once these people reach the US, they can't come back. They have to stay, work, and send money to home. And that's why many Punjabis risk everything to cross the border illegal. Now, Punjab might have high numbers, but Gujarat has something different: organized human smuggling networks. But here's how it works: there are entire travel agencies in Gujarat that offer packages for illegal immigration. And these agents arrange everything: fake documents, flights, and even routes through Central America to reach the US border. Gujaratis, especially from business oriented families, see migration as an investment. And even if they enter illegally, they believe they will eventually find a way to settle down, start a business, or get a legal status. Many of them come in on fake visas that could be student visas and try to overstay and use forged asylum claims related to religion or political persecution, and also sneak in through Mexico's smuggling networks. And unlike Punjab, where immigration or migration is often a matter of survival, for many Gujaratis, it's a business move. But how are they entering the US? So now we know why they are leaving, but how do they actually reach the US? I'll break that down for you. The donkey flight. Yes, that's a real term. It sounds like something out of a Hollywood thriller, but this is the real journey that thousands of Indians they take. They fly to Brazil or Bolivia. Why? Because these countries offer easy visas for Indian citizens. And they make their way to Mexico. either through legal flights or smugglers arranging for a transport. And then they cross into the US through the Mexico border, either by paying Mexican cartels or walking for days through dangerous routes. And this is not cheap. Families often sell their homes, take loans, or borrow money just to afford this 40, 60 lakhs of smuggling fee. And the shocking part of all this is many people die on the way, unfortunately, either through harsh conditions in jungles like the Darien Gap in Panama or from cartel violence in Mexico. When after crossing the border, many claim asylum by saying they are facing religious or political persecution in India. And the US has seen a huge rise in Indian asylum claims, especially from Punjab and Gujarat. And the same happened in Canada, of course, right? So here's the real problem. Many of these claims are false, and people are actually economic migrants, and the US asylum system is overwhelmed, leading to years long case backlogs. And some immigrants end up in detention centers and are later deported, and still, many manage to stay and start working under the radar in restaurants, trucking, or odd jobs. The US knows this and that this is happening, and now things are changing. They're trying to bring in stronger border security where Indian migrants are now being targeted for deportations. They're trying to bring in tighter asylum laws where the US is becoming more strict with cases that seem fraudulent. And of course, with increased return deportations, many Indian immigrants are now being sent home. But despite this, the migration networks are still strong and thousands more are trying to cross each year. And we have recently seen where about 100 people were sent back home. And what we know is they all are just few weeks old in the US. Well, this issue is complex. For India, it's a sign of definitely a deep economic problem in some regions. And for the US, it raises questions about border control and asylum policies. Should the Indian government crack down on illegal immigration? Should the US change its asylum system? What do you think?